It says I'm live. It says I'm live, man. Anybody got my back here? Anybody want to throw in that I am live? I don't know. Maybe you can't. And of course, you shouldn't be sleeping during my show, anywho. You know, speaking of sleeping, well, not really sleeping. I guess I was just making a reason. But I was just talking to Icons up to about 1 minute ago. He called right before the show, and I'm like, man, you should have called about 9 minutes later. He would have been apart, you know? See? Yeah, and there's like 5 people here, but I understand. The president's on, and everybody wants to catch the Corona task force. Oh, it's going up dramatically. My popularity shooting to the stars. 11 people. And as some of you may or may not know, a couple weeks ago, Wolf was pretty down. And of course, I took him to the vet, and the vet advised me that he had Corona. And of course, I took him home and snuggled him all under the blankets, you know, kept him filled with some Schweppes tonic water with quinine. This is the closest thing that they have to hydrochlorine. So anyways, seen him through that, you know, and the whole time Wolf was like, dude, dogs can't get Corona. I'm like, well, that ain't what the vet said. In fact, I mean, like everybody's got Corona now. You know, I went to Kroger's today. I went into Kokomo. And people walking around with their masks on, afraid they're going to get the invisible scare. Me and Wolf pointed and laughed at him. You know, Wolf was all like, you know, this is, you know, in the way that he does that with these little paw finger. You know, but anyway, people in there afraid of catching Corona. People, you know, I went to the pet store, man. I bought me a little female rat. Beautiful little rat. There was a mistake made. Remember the rat I got? Remember that? Yeah? Remember? Okay. Well, it was a male rat, and upon further investigation, so was the wild rat that I caught. And they wasn't getting along. So I had the domestic rat removed to a friend of mine's house because the pet store wouldn't be taking him back during this Corona outbreak. We could get Corona and die. You know, that's the way that they're looking at it. And of course, when people say that, I'm like, bullshit. It's the flu, dude. That's what it is. It's the flu. They shut the world down because of the flu. Don't know if anybody that got it, and anybody that did get it, seems like they was okay after about a week or two. They give them some quinine. Oh yeah, I feel remarkably better, which tells me immediately, if you ever get the flu, take quinine. You know what will happen? It will be gone. You won't even suffer the symptoms very bad. It's just all BS. They don't want you to get better anyway. They want you sick, and they want you wearing a mask, and they want to point at you and laugh and go, "Look, they believe this shit." Yeah, like what is the count up to? It is it like 30,000 or something like that? And I'm like, wow, that's almost as many as what the flu kills every year. Thank God I didn't get Corona. I would have got the sniffles really bad. So. Anyway, thank you all for being with me here tonight, because here's the top story. This is what it's all about right now. What if? What if? Okay? Because in looking back so many months ago, I had made the statement that, yeah, it will come out that it is TJB in Missouri. A witch down there for the Catholic supply store, sexual assault and homicide, that he is the Delphi suspect. And it will be announced, because I done looked into it. I had somebody get in the comments and give me hell, okay? Because, look, it's not that people don't get it, okay? And their opinion is just as valid as yours. To which I said, hey, listen, firstly, and listen good, listen really good, because I don't have an opinion. What I have is facts, evidence, and circumstances that all fit exactly what it is I'm pointing to, which is the fact, not opinion. Don't confuse facts with opinions. Okay, look, let me tell you right now, the prosecutor don't go into court with a fucking opinion. You hear what I'm saying? He don't go in there going, well, we believe it though. Why not you guys? Come on, join us in our opinion. I looked this case over and I fit everything exactly where it fit. And again, I look at you guys that don't believe it and I ask, why are you even fucking here? Why are you on my channel? Why ain't you somewhere beating your meat? I mean, ain't you got anything better to do? So anyway, oh, well, there that is. So tonight it's about what ifs. Because I had said months back that before it comes out that it is TB, shit will hit the fan. Shit hit the fan. As predicted. Why? Because I'm always correct. That's why. Always. When I look something over, I have a determination to make. One is wrong and one is right. And I go, you know, I'm going with this one. Because I always select correctly. It's up here. Oh, yeah. Got me some new juice today. Got me the banana cheesecake. God, this stuff is so good. It is literally like vaping a banana cheesecake. For real. Not that fake shit like you see on TV. I'm talking about the real cheesecake. Beautiful stuff, man. Just beautiful. Oh, hey, Incog. I don't know if anybody has been to Incog's channel recently. If not, go there now. Spelled exactly like her name. But go there and check out her last video. It was really well done. And this is me, but she don't put out enough videos. I bide my time each day looking for a video, and I never see one. But keep making them. Oh, Garger. I'm sorry. That wasn't intended at you. That was intended at them. Oh, hey, Wombat Dundee, dude. Waiter. Kim on the trail. How you doing? Oh, Kim, you know what? I do have some bad news, everyone. And I want to be quite clear on what happened. Last week, Stylist called in, if everybody remembers, and she was a friend of TB's. And I told her to email me at my email address, and I threw it up on the screen. And she says, why? I said, so I'll have your contact information. Well, you have my number. And I'm like, yeah, correct. Well, Kim on the Trail had just called in prior to her. Okay. So I went searching back through there for a Californian number. And I scrolled it out and I wrote it all down so I'd have her number and everything. And then when I looked up the number, I'm like, well, wait a minute. That in California? And then I'm looking back through there and I'm like, but wait, that's okay. So I had Kim on the Trail's number wrote down. Okay. Now, the next day, by chance, I get a call. So I answer it and I'm like, yo, yeah, I was going to bring in my taxes and I'm like, is this Stylist? Yeah. Who's this? I said, this is Michael. Michael who? Katt. Oh, I'm sorry. I live in Indiana too, she said. And you had an Indiana number and that was my confusion. I'm sorry. And I'm like, whoa. It's cool. Wait. Now, I'm not looking at my phone at that time. So after I got off the phone with her, I went to check the phone number that she had called from. And do you know what? In both cases, last week and when she called me the following day, there was no number on my caller ID. Didn't even say anonymous. Didn't even say no number. There was just no number. Peculiar. So I'm hoping the Stylist shows up. And if you see her, tell her to call in immediately. Because I have questions for Stylist. It is so weird, but I got your number. I got your number, man. I wrote it down and you look at it and call you and say, hey, Stylist. What? No, this ain't Stylist. So anyway, I got those what if questions this week. And it was this. What if they blew Corona so far out of the water that, oh, wait a minute, they did. They shut the world economy down for the flu. So what if everything starts to melt economically? What if it comes to a point where they're like, ladies and gentlemen of the world, we can no longer feed you. You have no money. You have no taxes. Bye-bye. We're pulling the plug. Oh, Delphi? Well, we'd ask you to watch your television, but since you can't get electric and nobody's running electric, you know, I'm sure he's hit somewhere for it. And he is. He'll be doing his time in Missouri. So tonight is about what ifs. What if? And I don't care whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. I don't care if you think that the sheriff of Carroll County did it. I don't care if you think it was a drug hit. That's what it was. It was a drug hit. And I know who did it too. And I called him in. Great. Fantastic. I'm sure they'll enjoy looking into that. Corona. So if you have a what if, that is the subject matter this week. What if? Yes, but what if, Mr. Katt? Tell me that. Also, speaking of Mr. Katt, this week I also sent my money into the Secretary of State of Indiana. They're kind of like the undersheriff of the governor. You see where I'm at? And I got my DBA name, doing business as, and under the name of Michael Leroy Stroop, LLC. My doing business name is one of 5 differing business names, one of which, Wolf, don't be knocking on stuff. Don't do that. One is the True King of Uganda. I'm sure that the Secretary of State looked at it the same way. But still, I can run that through my business bank account. From Gary, Indiana? No way. You know what? Germal, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was just talking to Icons about Gary, Indiana, because he said if 18,000 people died in Gary, Indiana, would they have shut down New York because of it? No. I said, you're right. Ironically, I said, but there is nobody living in Gary, Indiana. But there is. I mean, there are. But, I mean, from the outside, it's kind of hard to see that. I mean, the place is a little shut down. But so is Kokomo, for that matter. What if? Exactly, Chad. Call. Oh, wait. Now, I guess I should provide a number, huh? Give me a second. Yeah, you see what I mean? He said, would they have shut that down? I don't think they would have shut Chicago or New York down at all. You can call in at that number right there, seen on your screen. And again, if anybody sees Stylist, point them out to me, because I got some questions to be asking. Where's Alaska Blue? Does anybody know where Alaska Blue is? Normally Alaska Blue's here. Man, she was probably working late. Sue? Incog? Would you guys mod for me? I mean, you guys are moderators. I ain't seen Lily in forever. But anyway, if you guys would mod, man, that would be fantastic. Well, you know what? That's a good question, Sasha. It is. It really, really is, because that was a question that I had going back. I live on farmland. I mean, actually, this is like 160 plus acres. A lot of it is field. Not all of it, but we have 1, 2, 3 fields right here on this property. But the farmer's already been out and plowed and sprayed and fixing the seed. So it looks like farming's going on, but it's just a matter of the money. I mean, look, man, we live in an economy where we're now going to be over 24 trillion in debt. You could buy America for $24 trillion. You see where I'm at? And we owe that to foreign bankers. So, yeah, right up the backside, no lube, no lube, no lube, unlubed. You're going to feel it. All right. So, you know what? I'll tell you what's strange. I could be in the shower. My head, man. I mean, I could just have it completely suds down with shampoo. The phone will ring. If I'm sitting on the toilet and I got one halfway out my backside, that phone will ring. I go walking out my back door, the phone will ring. But if I'm sitting here having a show, number on there for the world to see, nobody calls. No one calls. No WD-40. I saw no lube. Not even Vaseline. Zero. Somebody's calling. Hello.
It's 70 beautiful degrees here in Denver.
You know what? It was supposed to be 70 here today, and it was cold. Still cold.
Well, it reminds me that I need to have my air conditioning charged in this truck.
So how are you doing this week, Miss Katt?
I am doing just fine. I'm getting ready to leave Denver.
Where you headed?
You know, I'm going to take 70 east, and wherever I wind up, I wind up.
Ooh, man, that goes a lot of dangerous places.
I know.
70 east. You know, they had the I-70 killer.
You know, it wouldn't be marvelous to catch one of those guys.
Do what?
To actually catch one of those guys. There's the I-80 killer, and there's an I-70 killer, and it would just be amazing to see one of those guys get caught and taken down.
You're right, man. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Okay, I have a couple of things for you, and perhaps you might have the pictures.
Let me see. Let me take a quick look and see and find out. I have some photos right here. Let's see what they are.
Our listeners are pretty smart people.
Very, or they wouldn't be here.
Suspect that I sent them to you earlier.
Well, yeah, you're right. That is exactly how it went. Hang on. Let me share my screen here, and we'll get a look at these.
I did a down and dirty search of San Diego County's criminal records earlier today, and I am rather surprised, but not really, that Thomas Bruce did not have any kind of criminal record in San Diego County while he was living in Escondido.
Right.
I have to search traffic court a little bit later on to see if he got one of his famous speeding tickets. Because as far as I know, I have found two, and both of them were in Missouri.
Makes sense.
Now, having said that, I also found a divorce that was filed in Missouri. I think it was 87 between his first wife and him. Confirm that.
Quick second.
Okay.
Please wait until I'm done here before you call in. And then go. Okay, I was showing the photos here, but they don't really say anything.
The photos of the divorce?
Yes.
Okay, it is.
That one isn't. And this one right here says Judge Commissioner Catherine Michelle Hardy Shinkle, but it gives no name or anything to them.
Okay, look up on just above the name that you just read me. There should be a blue banner.
Yep.
And it should give the names right there in that banner.
It don't.
Oh, no.
No, sorry. No, it don't. And I noticed that when I looked at them when they were blown up, that it gives no name. It says Wednesday, June 17, 2020, but that's when it's assigned to because of the corona outbreak.
One,
please don't catch the invisible scare, people.
That one, I apologize. That one is his second divorce, I believe.
And the second one there is Tommy Bolton Schmid, and the next one says the identical to the first. It just says Judge Commissioner assigned Hardy Schinkel, Catherine, Michelle. But it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the judge in the case.
Now, it does say at the bottom, location Jefferson, which is the county, and case type SC dissolution without children.
I apologize for not making sure the name was on there.
Oh, whoa. Okay, no, you're right. Because right here on this one, it does. It says Diane J. Bruce versus Thomas J. Bruce.
Correct.
And that's on the third one. Let me blow that up a little bit so that everybody can see the...
I'm sorry. I assumed that they were on all of them, and I didn't verify that.
Well, you know, I mean, on the other one... I mean, it was just part of the same, but on this one right here where it says Missouri courts, there's the case number, Diane J. Bruce and Thomas J. Bruce. That is the divorce papers.
Exactly. And those were filed in Jefferson County, and apparently she's still living at the same address that the police raided and arrested him.
I would have been out of that house so fast.
Well, they may have signed a lease too, and she didn't want to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, you know what I'd say to those people? Yeah, I'll tell you what, you go live in the house.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would have left everything, I think.
Yeah.
But she waited a year and a half to file those divorce papers. Those were filed in February of this year.
You know, I mean, to an extent, I can understand that. And I'll tell you why. By waiting that long, she kind of takes the media out of it. Because had she did that immediately, it would have been in the news immediately. But by waiting until they shut up, almost a gag order style shut up on it, then it kind of keeps it out of the media. Because you know, I can point out that the media has never discussed her getting a divorce at this time. Hey, John, how you doing? I agree. I'm out.
But I'm assuming that they'll be finding that out pretty quick.
All right. Peace, Sasha. Waiter.
And they have filed their financial documents, or she has. I believe he did at the end or sometime in mid-March. And that's another page it's kind of lengthy. And that shows what has been filed, even though it doesn't go into detail.
Mods.
Now, there should be another divorce with Karen Bruce and Thomas Bruce from 1987.
And explain who Karen is.
I believe, if my memory serves me right, that would have been his first wife. And
hold on,
it
Chad.
appears that they would have been married a very short time.
Was
due
there
to the fact that he was in the military?
Did you find children in that marriage?
I did not.
Now, this kind of claims, because the time that was involved from the time that he joined the military, and that would have only been maybe 2 years prior to the time of their divorce, that he may not have had children, but it does state on his investigation report that he also went by Thomas Jerome Bruce Sr. And that makes me wonder why he would do that without there being Thomas Jerome Bruce Jr. Now, I did find a Thomas Bruce Jr. that lived in Michigan, but it was not in the same area where he grew up. I want to point that out. It may not be one of the same. Please don't reach that dude. Please. There may be copyright restrictions. I don't know.
Well, and I guess what we're going to have to do is some more research.
That's what I do best.
But I was surprised that nothing showed up in San Diego County, at least for a criminal matter.
Well, but the thing is I mean, the only crime, I mean, and don't take me wrong, I don't mean the only crime, but what I mean is in your average day where you could be arrested, the only crime I think that he would ever commit would be drinking and driving.
Well, I'm even surprised that he didn't have those.
Well, I'm surprised when he got pulled over that last time that he didn't get hit with one of those.
Exactly.
In fact, I was shocked to it. Like, man, this cop don't know what he's doing.
Well, I think if I remember right, that was a new trooper.
Yep.
Or fairly
Trooper
young.
Cherry from the Missouri State Police. That's his name. Look him up. Tell him how you feel.
I think I did quite a while ago.
Did you?
I did.
Did you call him an asshole and shit like that? Because I would have. In fact, I would have held no bars on it.
My guess is he won't make the same mistake again.
Yeah, he would. If the guy's Mason enough. Yeah, he would.
Thomas Bruce came out of that car looking for a fight.
He did. Absolutely
did.
And
I think instead of making the situation worse, the trooper wanted to decelerate and take the wind out of his sails, so he didn't continue with that and sent him on his way. Now, if he would have gotten in an accident and killed somebody,
yeah,
that would have been a problem.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, upon looking at that, and I can't place that on the officer. It wasn't like he knew who he was dealing with at that time. However, what did happen was by letting him go and not arresting him at that time. Had he arrested him at that time, he would have been hit immediately. He would have already been in Carroll County, and I want people to know that. He would have been hit the full way around the circle. However, he wasn't arrested for drinking and driving. If I was Thomas Bruce at that time and I was that drunk and I got out talking to that cop like that, I'd still be behind bars. And I want that pointed out. You know why? Not a Mason, people. Not a Mason. But if you're a Mason, all cops are Masons. Know that. Know it. You know what? That's why over in the UK, man, they wear that black and white checkered thing because they're all Masons. They said, hey, the only way you can raise up in there and get promoted is to be a Mason. I'm a Mason. One day I'll be a constable because I'm a Mason. So yeah, when you got that little jester and all this and that, that's why when I heard him, like, you know, when he looked at the cop and says, I see you're a trooper. You're a young trooper. That was his way of saying, I'm a higher degree Mason than you. Let me go. And he's like, yes, sir. Yes. Well, it was like Stylus was saying last week, you know. Well, I don't think he was a Mason. I think he was a Knights Templar. Oh, you mean the one where you have to be a 33rd degree Mason to get in? Oh, I'll get it. Yeah, of course. 33rd degree. Holy shit, man. We're kind of lucky it went the way it did, man. Trooper might have got on his knees for him, you know. 33rd degree. Wow. Pow. Talk about running for president. That's where we put people with 33rd degree, you know. Much like George Bush Sr. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Betcha. Skull and bones, too. That's why he's president. He's in the evolution of power.
A conversation about skull and bones.
Yeah, I talk about all of them. I don't care. I'm 54. What? I'm only going to make it to 100 anyway.
You're only going to make it to 100?
Yeah, maybe a couple of years. It depends. I might get up there like Kirk Douglas did. I already got Michael Douglas's hair, so why not?
Exactly. But I don't...
You can't see it with the hat on. Much like the second sketch of Bridge Guy. You know, he's the one without the hat on. Nobody's seen him without a hat on. What do you know what top of his head looks like? We're guessing. You know, we wanted to look younger. We didn't want a hat on.
Well, I will never quite get why they created the confusion around the two sketches. I don't think that was absolutely necessary.
I agree with you, but then again, I kind of disagree. And I do that for this reason, because they needed to make it look more particular to what it was they were saying, that we now feel that this guy is ages 18 to 40, lived, or had lived in Delphi area or worked here. This is the new sketch. And that one, because I mean, Stylist said last week, oh, yeah, the first one looks just like him. Well, he looks a little like the second one, but, and that's why, because they didn't want people looking at it and then looking at his mugshot and going, hey, wait a minute, I think I found this guy. No, 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 no. He's ages 18 to 40 and lived in Delphi. Come on. You got to be real. And again, me sitting here talking like this is why the shit will hit the fan. They're never going to give me the, they're never going to hand you the truth of the matter. They're never going to come out and say, oh, yeah, that guy we don't like, he was exactly right, He was telling you the whole time. You guys chose not to listen because somebody else had a better theory that fit yours on YouTube. That's why. My hair? Oh, yeah, my hair is. You're exactly right. And that's why I watch your channel, people. Right there. Because she's on it, man. She's hitting those facts, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hear you.
Well, I still can't figure out why Diana Bruce waited a year and a half.
Well, again, I think it goes to the media. Because, look, if she would have did that immediately, it would have been in the news. Because right after his arrest, man, they was covering all the bases on him. But then once they was told to shut up, they shut up. Never heard anything out of him since, except for when he went to court. But they don't mention Delphi. They don't mention anything. They don't mention his DNA, it matching. They're said, but they're still checking his DNA. Okay. And that's where they shut up. That's when the FBI said, shut up. They're going like, oh, was you talking to me? Yeah, all of us. Yeah, the entire news. We're out, dude. Peace. But if she had did that immediately and filed for divorce, then it would have hit the news. But doing it now it hits my channel, which is the news.
Well, and the other troubling thing, I thought we had really researched this really well, very well. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but the court documents, according to a couple of newspaper sources, say that he, in that time span between, I guess must be they went all the way back to the time he was born to his home in Imperial, he had 27 different addresses. Now, I do remember some of those addresses being post office boxes. So I don't know if they've counted that in, because that's not a physical location. But I think we only have about half of that. I don't think we have anywhere close to 27 addresses. And that needs to be figured out, because if he lived in different parts of the country and transferred out of Escondido any earlier than what we thought, that may fill in a whole bunch of blanks. It really might. But if anybody knows of any cases out in California with any missing women between, 1984 to 1994, 95, I'd sure like to know them.
Yeah. See, Stylist gave us one last week.
Yeah, and that one didn't work out because it was 2010, I believe.
Well, now that's what somebody said, but it made me wonder if there was another one that happened before that, because she said it was in the 90s. And when I brought up 2010 to her, she's like, no, it was before that. So it could have been separate incidents. And the one that we'd be looking for may not have made the news like the other one.
Well, I can try to figure that out. I'm surprised at the amount of people that are dead and missing, dead and unsolved cold cases in California. There's a lot of them. And if you go up towards LA, there's a lot of them. There are thousands that are unsolved. Mostly probably because the DNA hasn't been tested.
Yeah, but then again, they had DNA in the 90s. I mean, everybody remembers OJ. And well, what about the DNA? DNA. We need the DNA. So they had it. And if you're looking at murder, and especially if somebody had left DNA behind, it seems like that they would have put that back as evidence.
Well, and that could be, but he was arrested in 2018. Perhaps the smaller police departments or even the bigger ones don't run those tests but once a year on a very old cold case. And so maybe they haven't run them yet. Maybe they've run them and the FBI knows and nobody else knows yet. So there's a lot of ways that can go. I'm just trying to match, heinous murders with places that he lived. And I'm not having a lot of luck yet. And there are a couple in St. Louis, and he didn't live that far out of St. Louis.
No, you know what? He had, let's see, to my knowledge, 3 different St. Louis addresses, one in Jackson County near Cape Girardeau, and then the one in Imperial. So that's 5 places that I'm aware of. And I think that there was another that was listed. I'm going to have to, there was. So he had a lot of addresses in Missouri, and that was out after he was out of the service.
Well, I think he moved around a lot.
Yeah, it makes me wonder why, too.
There could have been a lot of reasons for it, but obviously one is to evade being tracked down.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So that's what I found in the time that I had to devote to this week.
Well, I appreciate that very, very much. And I was thankful for the divorce because a lot of people ask me about whether his wife had divorced him yet. I'm like, I don't really know. Now, I never really, and I'm just saying, but I never really bothered to look into that too much because, it just didn't play into the investigation for me. But it does answer a lot of people's questions concerning that because she has filed, and that should go through month after next, correct? In June?
Yes.
So she has filed.
On the 17th. But what surprised me, like with BTK in Kansas, his wife filed for an emergency divorce. Chris Watts out here got his divorce by killing his family.
Hold on a second.
But there was another one. Oh, and I can't. It was just on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember it. That file for an emergency divorce, and it's done the same day you file, as long as your paperwork's filed.
Yeah.
But Russell Williams, the colonel from Canada's biggest Air Force base, when he got caught, his wife, I believe, has stayed married to him.
Yeah.
And she was sued several times in Canadian court, and they settled because the plaintiff presented evidence that she either did know or should have known what he was doing. And I have great reservations about that because it seems like the big killers cover their tracks pretty well with their family.
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, nobody believed Ted Bundy was a serial killer at first.
Yeah, he went in and defended himself.
Church.
Hold on. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is like when somebody's talking, they can't hear me. Which I'm not saying be quiet, but what I'm saying is like when you're talking, when I say, "Oh, hang on for a second, hold on," you can't hear that.
No, I can't. And
right.
I apologize. I tried.
No. It's the phone.
We can blame mine. I'm blaming it for everything else this week.
No, it's everybody's.
And I can't remember what I was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on
No,
me.
it's okay. It's just I lose my train of thought, and that's it.
Well, Bada Bing had said, Katt, some insurance companies have their agents sell securities. These agents have to be licensed by SEC, thus fingerprinted. Food for thought. But, and again, see, people ask me, well, wasn't he fingerprinted in the Navy? Yeah, maybe, but that doesn't go into a national legal database. I mean, like, that's like saying, well, if you're going to be an insurance dude, we got to fingerprint you in case you go commit murder. Well, I ain't going to commit murder. Well, just maybe you'll go commit murder. So I don't know that those are necessarily put into the CODIS legal fingerprints as much so as they are in their set. It's the same with DNA. When you use ancestral DNA like 23andMe, well, that don't go into the legal DNA. It don't. But see, CC Moore can use that and then trace it down to a name. Food for thought. Because I'm telling you right now that it is Thomas Bruce. Take it how you like. And if you don't like it, that's fine. That's cool. You can call up and say, what if? I mean, like, what if it ain't? Well, what if it ain't? You want me to hang myself? I'm correct. And you'll see that in due time. Why don't you wait a few months before inquiring? There he is. He wasn't here last week.
And I think that's a good thing to remember that, DNA is only a tool. It's not the end all and be all of solving these crimes.
Exactly. Because if it was, go ahead.
It depends on what kind of DNA that they have. If it's an inconclusive touch DNA, that can sometimes be explained away. Like, I was in the same area, I danced with her, I did this, I did that, whatever. And sometimes, the defense comes up with a pretty good rendition of why that DNA, touch DNA, was present on the victims. But other kinds of DNA, like semen, saliva, you can't explain those
mods
very well.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Michael.
Exactly. And I would like to point out that if it was just DNA and only DNA, and that was the dividing factor of guilt or innocence, I guess Sherlock Holmes would have been out of a job, as well as Columbo. Of course, they're fictional people, but so am I. God, I mean, hell, what, do you think I'm really sitting here doing the show? I'm not.
Well, that's interesting because you and I have had some pretty interesting conversations.
It was all fictional. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there it is. I was just making stuff up like I tend to do.
Everything I learned from you then is
bullshit
as well.
It's total bullshit, man.
Okay, well, I got that. Okay. Anyway, I am going to let you go and
Why?
I might call back in a little.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool then.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, somebody else was calling. I'll talk to you after a bit. Oh, she already left. Okay. All right. If you was calling earlier, there's my number at the ticker at the bottom, or let me pull it up. Hey, Ohio. Who's from Ohio? Let me check that name here. See if it's anybody I know. Oh, no. No. Unless you're my sister-in-law. Well, yeah, you're right, Bada. However, he slid through the FBI's tracks, and I want to point that out because the FBI was looking for him, and I think that it was on. Hold on, let me fix that so you're not looking at my wall. Because the FBI was looking for him, and they had his DNA. And look, provided that it is, hang on a minute. Please look at me, camera. Look at me in the eye. Thank you. The FBI was looking for him through his DNA. We know that they had DNA, and I feel that they had fingerprints as well. Now, he had never been arrested. Now, I was told that by Trooper Kim Riley, that, well, it's like the suspect had never been caught committing a crime. Now, I don't know that he was to tell me that, but I know that when he told me that, I damn near just went right down the back of my pants because I couldn't believe, of all people, including Rafael Sanchez, Indiana's #1 investigative reporter, didn't get that information. That was this guy right here. Now, that was kind of a bad day on my behalf because we was hoping that the first year press conference there would be a suspect announcement. Didn't happen. But we did get that information that this person had never committed a crime before. And I'm like, okay, well, it's certain that I don't know him because I only know people that have committed crimes. Oh, I've met a lot of those people in jail, much like Greeno. So that really swung the door open, but we knew at that time that we was looking for someone who had never been caught committing a crime. Now, when TB was arrested, that was one of the reasons, again, that they called Carroll County. This man had never been arrested before. He has no DNA or fingerprints in the database. So we knew that that fit. Now, upon hearing that and me looking up his mugshot, I'm like, wow, they used this guy for that first sketch. There it is. So that started leading me down the rabbit trail of what can I find out further? That's when I found out that he had lost a job 1 month before Delphi, was not working, was available to be here at that time. He lost his job 1 month before Evansdale murders, was available to be there at that time, was not working. So, you know, that's kind of the way that I was looking at it because I was trying to fill all of the circumstances that I knew the suspect had to fit. All of them fit. Then when everything started fitting, when I found the route to his hometown in Michigan and to Fort Wayne, took the Hoosier Heartland, then I'm like, okay, that means that he's taken that route many, many times since he lived in Missouri. And that goes back to the early 2000s, roughly 2000 to 2002, right in that time frame is when he moved down to Jackson County, Missouri. So through those about pushing now, well, at that time, that would be 16 years, he made many trips via car from Missouri, right there on the eastern side of Missouri, to Michigan and to Fort Wayne. So I knew that he had taken the Hoosier Heartland. I knew that he had stopped there many times. I knew that he knew that trail, and it all started to fit like a glove, not OJ's glove, a real glove, you know. Hang on. Oh, I see. Yeah, I got you. Exactly. Well, and again, that's why I tell everybody to use that link. And that's what mods should be throwing up right there. Exactly what I put right there, mods. That's the link. But if, you know, you can only do super chat, man, drop super chat. It's all good by Michael J. Katt. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, yes, right. So getting back to TB, everything did fit, and it fit to such a degree that then after a while I was like, no, well, actually, you should word that like in the way that I did, because then that way people don't go, he's asking for money. Dear God, doesn't YouTube pay him? No, YouTube doesn't pay a freaking dime. They didn't beforehand. They didn't 2 years ago. And now they go, well, we can't fund you because of Corona. We don't have people to watch 4 hours of your video to make sure that it's good and pay them minimum wage, which is more money than we would have paid you. We don't have it because of Corona. Bullshit. You're lying. YouTube is a front, and you know, me and many other video creators made YouTube what it is so that they could turn around and hand it. Well, excuse me, I say hand it. I didn't mean hand it. Give it to us up the backside without lube. Because YouTube is fake, it's bullshit, it's Google, and wait, did I already say BS? If I didn't, bullshit. You're lying. You're lying, YouTube. Up yours. And thus saith and decreeth the true king of Uganda. Thank you. Now, if you have a what if, I'd like for you to call the number seen on your screen and ticking across the bottom of it. If you have a what if, it's the topic matter of discussion. Wait, what? You tried to eat one what? Which one what? What are you guys talking about? Oh, well, Buckeye. You know, very cool. You should say point that out because we have a whole grove of Buckeye trees here, and I thought seriously about selling Buckeyes on eBay as Buckeye seeds because they are. And I wanted to take like a couch down there with like me smoking a pipe and enjoying myself under a Buckeye tree. Grow your own Buckeye tree, enjoyable shade all year round with a Buckeye, you know, and have photos of that so that people go like, holy shit, yeah, I want a tree like that. I want to put my couch under it and smoke a pipe just like that guy. Or maybe you vape. I don't know. So anyway, what if? People asked me last week, well, what if he gets corona and dies? Could they still legally take his DNA? Yes, absolutely. All they need is a warrant. They'll dig you up out of the grave to get your DNA if they want to. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think Buckeyes are very... they're not edible. I mean, it's like saying like an acorn. Squirrels will eat an acorn, but if you do it, I mean, I hear they taste really nasty. Well, Buckeyes? I've never had one fall on my head. I live at Walnut Ridge, and I have never seen a walnut fall and hit anybody in the head. I've seen cars get dented by them, though. All right, man. Well, thank you, Tech Death, Hippie. Right on. Yeah, animals eat acorns, and I do believe squirrels eat Buckeyes as well. But I think humans, it's just something that don't taste good to us. You have to be a rodent. Something to think about. Of course, I'm not a rodent. You can probably tell by my front teeth that I'm not a rodent. Shoot for humor. Oh yeah, I love those things, Incog. Yeah, man, nothing better than peanut butter wrapped in chocolate. It's like a homemade Buckeye Reese's. So nobody has a what if? Oh, yeah. Okay. If you guys aren't aware, and I got to break into the what if. Why? Because nobody's calling up with the what if. That's why. You want to change the subject? Call in with what if. I triple do dog dare you. How I got into YouTube was like this. I was down at my garden with a friend of mine. It wasn't that kind of garden, which really, you know, well, a different story. But it was 420 the other day. I don't know what everybody was doing, but it was 420 2020. So, anyways, I was down at the garden down here, and our horses are right next to the garden area, and we had Les and everything like that in it, and he was pulling some off because it was the end of the year, and he was feeding it to the horse we had. Well, it was a pony. So he was feeding this to the pony, and he's like, well, what if I tried to give one a jalapeno pepper? I wouldn't eat it. I said, it would smell it. No, it's hot. So he's feeding it some more leaves and stuff out of there. And I'm like, well, dude, are you not going to try to feed it a jalapeno? So he picked a jalapeno and he gave it to the horse, and the horse ate it, wanted more. I'm like, well, that's really weird, man. I assumed it would have been hot, to the horse. So him and we started talking about like, well, what's the hottest pepper in the world? And he was talking about the ghost pepper, and I said something about habanero, and I'm like, I don't really know what the hottest pepper in the world is. So I started looking for the hottest pepper in the world. I'm on YouTube, and I'm looking hottest pepper in the world, and everything kept coming up FBI reviews. So when I finally thought I had found the hottest pepper, and I put it into YouTube, it said FBI reviews, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, okay, they got me. I gotta know. Why is the FBI reviewing peppers? Is there some secret agent in there? I don't know. I don't know. So I finally clicked on it, and then I realized that FBI stood for fire breathing idiot, which is Ted Barris. So, and I found out that he is like the world reviewer of all peppers in the world. Hottest pepper in the world, he eats them. The tastiest pepper, he eats them. He reviews them. That's what the guy does, man. And that's what got me into it, because once I found out at that time, not now, now it's the Carolina Reaper, but back then it was the Trinidad Moruga Scorpion. And that's the one I got. That's the one I ate. And the FBI shared it, and I got a bunch of subs. And I'm like, crap, I used my real name. I was trying to do it under my dare name, which is Abdul Knievel. Just like Evil Knievel, except I wore a keffiyeh like Yasser Arafat did. I look cool, man. Looks badass, man. In fact, I was going to wear it out, man, you know, just day to day. But people are like, yeah, you Muslim prick. Dude, I'm packing heat. Don't call me a Muslim prick. Anyways, and that's why I started my YouTube foray. Yeah. Then I had the fastest time eating century eggs, that too. Fastest mustard eater in the world. I am Mustard King. I prefer to go by Mean Mr. Mustard. It's a Lennon thing. No, John Lennon. Not communist. Not that Lennon. But anyway, yeah. That's what started it. See, and now my popularity wanes. If only there was a what if out there. I know that every troll in the world has a what if to throw at me. And I only get it in chat. Phone? Ring. Ring phone. Be somebody calling with a what if. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There is one thing that I will never eat. I will never put to my lips. And that is tomato soup. Specifically Campbell's. Hold on. Somebody's calling with a what if. Hello.
Hey, I've got a question for you that will lead into no good.
Okay.
What would happen if after the coronavirus,
The flu?
and well, yeah, after this is all done and all these states start opening up and they figure out they don't have enough money to prosecute murderers?
Yeah, that is a what if. And that's kind of where I was at going back like a week or so ago, because I thought, yeah, this is where it's going to hit the fan. This is the one that's shutting everything down. Nobody wants to get the flu. People, when they can lock down the entire world and all the jobs and make you stay at home and 6 feet from other people because of the flu, you'll believe anything. Man, I get people on Facebook, man, talking about this, man. Like, I can't believe there's people down there in Florida at beaches swimming. You want to get corona? Go to Florida. My God, I'm shaking my head. I can't believe it. Like, really? Man, annually, the flu kills more people than corona. I want you to think about that. They shut the global economy down because of the flu. People believe it.
Yes, they did.
People believe it. People believe it. People are in there, man. It's curbside service at the pet store, man. At the pet shop. Curbside service. They won't let you in because you might have corona. Well, I handed you my money. What if I had corona? Wouldn't you get it? Yeah, well, yeah. I'm going to spray it with Lysol and Perel, though. Being very clean about it. I went to the vape shop. Outside service. Oh, we'll take your card. There you go. Thank you. It's scary, man. I mean, I could understand. I really could if it was something that literally killed more people than the flu. I could understand. But look at the numbers. Then look at the annual numbers for flu. You'll see that corona's killed less than the flu. Less than the flu. And again, when I was talking to Icons earlier, that's what he told me. He said if the amount of people that supposedly died in New York died in Indiana, would they have shut New York down? No, they wouldn't have, he said. And I said, you're right. But people will freak out, man, especially when the news is saying a kid died of corona. No, the kid did not die of corona. What happened was is his mom, who was pregnant with the child, got corona and she aborted. That's not dying of corona. In fact, she got the flu, and guess what? Aborted the kid. That's the shit that people believe, because when they see it on the news, it all becomes so real to them. So yeah, I'm with you. If it shut everything down the same way that it did, the same way that we believed the flu and we got to throw masks on, everybody's going to die. Well, no, not everybody died. In fact, of the 30,000 people that they say died of corona, all of them were old and all of them got the flu. And there it is. It's the flu. That's what everybody's hiding from, is the effing flu. That's why I said, well, if I got corona, you know what I'd do? I'd curl up on my couch, same as I would when I got the flu, and I'd be fine. I'd drink Schweppes tonic water with quinine. I would eat some zinc, just like doctors prescribe if you got corona. And I would have stayed at home. Would I have been marching to the hospital? I got corona. Help me. Please help me. Dude, you got the flu. Yeah, corona. I know. I understand. I understand the 1 + 1 = 2. I know my math. And again, it's one of those things. It's the flu. That's exactly what it is. Per capita of kills less than the flu. Hey, look out. Now, and people go, well, that's because we have social distancing. Bullshit. Bullshit. I stayed at home and quarantined myself because that's what I do anyway. I still don't go out and talk to people. I'll go down and beat Ryan in chest about 6 or 7 times in a week, but that's what I do normally anyway. I want him to learn the game.
Well, I don't think we'll ever get the true numbers out of anybody.
Yeah, you will. You will out of me. Half, less than half of the people that they say died from corona literally died of the flu. Complications of the flu. It wasn't like flu killed them. It's always complications from, because the flu don't kill you. It's the complications of having the flu that kills you if you have a weakened immune system. That's the point I want to point out. That's why old people were dying from it. Do you know who dies of the flu? Old people with lowered immune systems. Old people with asthma.
Be careful, Michael. I'm old.
No, you're not. I'm not old. I can still run 2 miles.
More experience. But I
am not old.
really
I'm wiser than others. Do what?
I really don't think that we're going to get true numbers, because if they come out less than what they need to be to justify this 2-month time out, they're going to look stupid. And I'm not sure that I've ever seen press like what's coming out of the CDC. And I'm really disappointed, because I really thought that was a good agency. But some of the comments that are coming out by assistant epidemiologists who have no freaking business saying anything to any press, that, those numbers are going to be skewed one way or the other.
Right on, Sash.
Coming out of there. And I think part of the problem is going to be that the doctors, the actual doctors that are treating patients, are going to assume that a lot of their patients that died of the coronavirus. And unless complete autopsies are done, nobody's ever going to know that. And they're rushing those people into the ground.
Yeah, well, I'll put it to you like this, because Trump's on the Corona task force saying, we built these hospitals to hold these many people. We got a boat on the east shore and one on the west, which is really the Swiss Army boat. If you really look at the Red Cross, it's really out in the open if you really look at it, because that's why they're neutral. You see where I'm at? Oh, hang on. Let me remove that so people can see my mouth moving. There you go. Now you can see I'm literally saying these words. Sorry, Kim. So, but anyway, here's the deal. I seen on Fox News the other day that 85 times the amount of people that came in and got tested probably have corona. And I'm like, Wow. And only 20,000 people at that time had died of corona. Geez, it's not even the flu then, you're saying. This is like a really bad cold is what you're saying. And like old people with lowered immune systems may die. Yeah. That sounds a lot like the flu to me. So yeah, it really was flu season, and it was like, okay, if you get the flu and your immune's down, your immune system, if you got asthma, you could die. Exactly like the flu. So yeah, it was the flu. And there it is. If like you go out and you're around people and you get the flu, yeah, it's just like the flu. You're going to be bad off for about a week or so. There it is. Going to be congested going, for the love of God, I might die. Hey, Sue, could you hang on a second? Somebody's calling.
I sure can.
Yeah, they don't call when you're not on the phone, but they do when you are. Hello.
If like you go out and you're around people and you get the flu, yeah, it's just like the flu. You're going to be bad off about it. Answer your phone.
Okay, who are you? All right. All right. So
Yes.
okay. I don't know. I the person was trying to like answer your phone. I don't even think they was talking. So anyway, carry on.
Well, and I think New York's a little bit different because there are, 9 million, 10 million people that live in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
And you can't walk anywhere without somebody touching you one way or the other. Accidental, on purpose, whatever.
That's why I don't go walking in New York.
Well, I wasn't even in New York proper, but there were enough people to drive me crazy. And they would be much more likely to have a pandemic of huge consequences than you would on the farm. I mean, your geese aren't going to give it to you.
Well,
and I think
that's hard to say.
Pardon me?
That is hard to say. If it was avian flu, my geese could give it to me.
Well,
but my geese could die of it.
Where the source was. If it's a laboratory virus,
H1N1.
Track it back to where it came from, and let's find out. Because if this is a game that China is playing, it better be something that's not done again.
Well, I'm with you to a degree, and on another degree, I'm not. Did you ever watch the movie Network?
Yes.
Well, there it is in a nutshell. Because you see, it's not nations, it's not people, it's not America, it's Exxon, it's corporations, Mr. Beale. It's corporations. Now, that was put out in 1976, and it holds true more today than it does then. It is a global network, and there are not nations. There are nations playing one side. There are nations playing the other sides. It's about the corporations and the money involved. That's what it amounts to. But it's not the reality that they spend on the news and the media, the stuff that people believe is real, because that is, in a nutshell, what I say during every show. Absolute bullshit. It's bullshit. Now, if it was a killer virus, a real killer virus, I ain't talking about this corona crap. You know what corona stands for? Do you know what corona means?
Beer.
Hang on. God, I wish I had a band right now, because a rim shot would have been like very well done right there. Yeah. No, not necessarily beer. It means the crown. It's
the Crown Royal of beers?
No, the crown, like the king's crown. Yeah. That's what it means. It's the outside of the sun. It's the corona. And that's what it means, the crown. Now, when you're looking at the crown, what do you think of? What do I think of? Globalism, the crown. And they fooled you with the crown virus, which is the flu. Nothing different. If China had released a virus that killed 50% of the people who acquired it, that would be deadly. That would go around the world. 9 times more contagious than the flu is what the media is telling us. But it kills less than the flu. So really, it's just a cold. There you go. Now, that isn't anything that I'd be concerned about at all. In fact, what I would be kicking China's ass over would be us shutting down the entire world's nations and the economies over the bad sniffles. That would be something bad. Like, you, China, made us worry and shit, you dirty dogs. That would be different. But it isn't that. In fact, at the beginning of the corona, I had stated, yeah, well, okay, if I got it, man, I'd just stay home, man. I'd be sick for a little bit. Big deal. So what? My immune system's fine. I said, what you don't want to do, be it the flu or the corona flu, whichever flu you choose to use, don't give it to people who it could kill. Old people. Old people can't take it like you younger people. You know, that's the lowdown. You know, you don't go over and have the flu and go up shaking some 80-year-old's hand. You say, oh, man, I got the flu. Sorry, man. Hope you don't get it. Because, yeah, you never want old people to get the flu. Those are the people who are more apt to die of it. But wait a minute. Hang on. We really deviated off the discussion because the whole of it is what if. Now, did you have a what if again? Since you're my only caller.
Okay.
Another what if. Think.
What if they tie another murderer into this and arrest 2 people?
Okay.
How did we miss that?
I don't think I would have. In fact, I will go as far as to say this. I don't think that law enforcement would have missed that. If you look at the ones that we have tied TV to, which is for me and maybe yourself as well, that would be Mary Pryor, Ann Pates, Delphi, Evansdale, with the possibility of Susan Collins on top of that. None of them involved multiple suspects. And anybody that says, well, wait a minute, we don't know that on Delphi. Yes, we do too. We absolutely do. Because the FBI did the CSI on that and they never came back and said, we think more than one person. Now, local was said suspect or suspects, leaving the door open that there could have been more. But the thing is they have came out even at the briefing and said, we want you to know this is one person. This is not a separate voice, although we're making sure it sounds different than the first one. It's the same person that's saying both words. Guys, and down the hill. Down the hill. So I do believe that it is only one person. In Evansdale, they never came out and gave multiple suspects. They said the suspect, and they gave a profile on the suspect. The suspect, not suspects. Now, in the 2 in Ohio, Mary Pryor and Ann Pates, fingerprints and DNA were obtained of the suspect, not suspects. So I do feel that it is only one suspect, and I don't think that law enforcement or the FBI was misled. But if in other ones that there was another suspect, I think if when he was tried on that he would have came out with the other one. But that's only if they was going to hit him with more than life without parole. Because really, why drag your friend and cohort into it if it's only you they're looking at? And you got hit for the other one, and you're already going to be doing life without parole. So, I mean, that's kind of my answer to it. If any of them he did have a cohort and another suspect with, why would he come out with it? You say, hey, I'm doing life without parole. You might as well too. I don't know. Yeah, just the way I'm looking.
And that's very possible. A lot of people who are looking at this are going back to square one, and because there's nothing new to discuss. And I have a difficult time understanding how the families can be so patient, because I'd certainly want this behind me. It's 3 years in, 3 years plus now, and
On the phone. Give it a minute.
I would think that people would be getting impatient just at least to know that they're looking at somebody close. Don't name him. Don't give it away.
Well,
just come out and reassure the public that, we're working on this and we've got a pretty good suspect.
However, yeah. See how I threw that in?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. However, Sheriff Lesenby did say in a more recent interview, it wasn't anything just yesterday, but going back, he said, well, we do have 3 people that we've been looking over. So, I mean, he did say when they said, well, do you have anybody that you're looking at? Yeah, I knew it, man. I knew it. Hang on. Could you hold on a second? Somebody's calling.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm new.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm new to calling in.
You never used the phone?
My question is,
Okay.
what if
What if?
true crime Jesus is right?
Uh-huh. Or
And then my
that
second
Godfrey
question
guy?
is, what if Derek Godsey is right?
I don't know what if. I don't watch their channel. You see, I have a channel. And I don't watch other people's videos. So what if they are right? What if they are? I have no idea what they said, but what if they're right?
Well, I watch everybody. I watch you. I watch everybody.
Oh, outstanding. And I thank you for viewing my channel, but I don't watch their channel. So what's your point? I mean, you brought them up. You're giving them their props on my channel. What if they're right? In fact, I asked the mods to eliminate you. I'm sorry about that, but I did. I thought you was a troll on there trying to get me attention to somebody else's channel.
I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I really am. I'm a big fan. And you're an acquired taste.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of like coffee and beer in a way.
No, I thought you followed it. I thought you followed everybody.
No. In fact, ma'am, I say on absolutely every single show that I've ever done, I don't watch other people's channels. I don't even watch Greeno's channel. Why? Because what he says
why aren't you starting the GoFundMe to get him out of jail?
To get him out of jail, yes, ma'am. No.
Have you started one?
No, because I don't use GoFundMe. GoFundMe takes 25% of the money that's donated. And I want you to know that. What I did do was I showed my PayPal link, and I said, if you send it to that money there, because in the PayPal, I get 100% of that. Now, if you use like Super Chat, YouTube takes out their money. If you use GoFundMe, they take out 25% for their money. It's not like you're sending that money in like $100 and I get $100. It don't work like that. I'll get 75% of it once the total amount is made. Now, it could take a year. It could take 2 years. He could be out of jail by that time. In fact, one time when I did that to get him out on GoFundMe, they're like, oh, we're sorry, that's legal. You can't use us for that. Well, I got an idea. I can drop this right down there and, oh, hang on. That won't work. There we go. See, I can drop that down there with my own PayPal link. And guess what? 100% of that money goes to where it's supposed to. So I don't.
How are we going to get him out of jail?
Well, There was a couple different methods that was being used. One was the affidavit, and the second was my hope, Corona. But when I called Morgan County Jail and I said, will you be letting anybody out because of Corona? No. Okay, thank you. No, they'd rather you stay in jail where that way they can make money off of you. That's the lowdown.
No,
You
I
see?
get it. Believe
County
me,
jails?
I get it. It's all about fines and fees.
It is. It's all about them making money. There it is.
Yeah, I know. I live in a county where they're fining people left and right.
That's what they do.
They're not pulling anybody over. So anybody that has a fender bender, they're giving them a ticket.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, I'm happy to talk to you.
Wait.
This has been a real...
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait. You called in with the what if, so now you got everybody on the edge of their seat. What if this true crime guy and that Godfrey bro is correct?
Godfrey.
Yeah. What if they are correct? Then what? You done gave their names, so tell us what they said. Tell everybody what they said.
Well, True Crime Jesus has a 4 or 5-part series that's very well edited and a great video series and great music that names a professor. I don't know. I can't think of it right
Don't say, hey, don't say the guy's name. Don't say the guy's name. Do not say the man's name.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
He names a professor, or he insinuates that a professor that is an archaeologist.
Right.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, you'd probably be right.
That is the killer. And
Katie, don't even go there.
Godsey.
Yes. We get the names. We know the names.
High school kid.
Right. Okay.
So I watch every video I can.
Yeah, you said you was a fan of my show, but you never one time ever heard me say I don't watch other people's channels. That's a little odd.
No, I watch your channel. I know who you think did it.
No. You said you watched my channel, but you never one time heard me say that I say on every single show I do not watch other people's channels. I don't even watch Greeno's channel. Why? Because what Greeno says is his opinion. That's what he bases it on off of what he knows. I know what I know.
Sometimes, Michael, I fall asleep when I'm listening. I listen to you because you're music to my ears, and I fall asleep.
Man, that's really sweet of you. I know other people that fall asleep too when they're watching my channel.
So no, sometimes I put you on your 2.5 hours. Yeah. I put you on a low volume, and I start to listen and hear what you have to say, and I fall asleep.
Well.
So I listen to you all night long.
Guess what? The King of Uganda is also good for insomniacs.
Yeah. No, I think so. You probably have said that, but I didn't believe it.
You didn't believe? You know what? The only thing that I watch on Delphi is interviews with law enforcement, press conferences, and briefings. That's it. Because
and I saw your interview with whoever it was. I can't remember.
Sheriff Lesenby?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen it 15 times.
Yeah. Got right to the heart of the matter. Yeah, I asked the good questions. I probably do.
But anyway, those are.
Well,
I'm just saying that if people, these people that put out these videos, we don't know who they are, right?
That put out the videos?
The True Crime Jesus and the Derek Godsey videos.
We got the names. We got them the first 5 times. But do we know who they are?
We don't know who they really, we don't know who's behind them. We know that you are behind your videos.
That's me.
Right?
Yeah, I am. It is just
and
me.
And Anthony Greeno's behind his.
Yeah.
But we don't know who these other people are.
Well, do they not show themselves on there?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, it says a lot right there.
Well, I think that
Look, here, let me put it to you like this. What's your name? What do you go by?
it's a hobo mo.
Okay. If I was saying on my channel that this professor, archaeologist, so on, he did it. And here's why. Well, to me, and again, this is just to me, I'd be like, well, that seems rather ridiculous because I can tell you right now that the FBI would not have missed that at all, period, at all. Whereas I know that when my man was arrested, that they was there on the second day after his arrest to get his DNA. They talked to his friends and family and neighbors about him looking like the Delphi video. Now, they did that for a reason, that they felt that he had committed that crime. Now, they had DNA, which they got. They have DNA in Carroll County. They was looking for that match and still went forward after getting that match, asking the people that knew him and his friends and neighbors about him looking like the guy on bridge. Now, that says to me that they felt pretty tight that he was that suspect. So, and again, from everything that I've looked at and looked into, it holds water completely.
Listen, he's a good suspect.
Who?
I'm not saying that. But what I think is that they think it's somebody from Delphi. And I do believe that they're telling the truth when they say that. They think it's somebody from Delphi or worked in Delphi or lived in Delphi.
Okay.
That's number one.
Well,
number two, I think that, I don't know what I think.
No. Go on with what you think. You got the world's attention. Go. Come on, man. Just make shit up like I do.
I just think that I've watched all the videos. I just think that either one of these guys, True Crime Jesus.
We got the names.
I know, but
are you here to plug them? Are you here to plug them? Are you here to plug their show?
No.
Then stop saying their effing names.
They're only getting like 600 views. For God's sake.
I don't care. I don't care if they're getting all the views in the world. I'm not here to plug others.
Well, I'm here to plug you. I watch you every
Aside of Incognito
I look
Society.
every day.
I plug it. I do that.
Is he going to have a live show? Do I miss the live show? This is the first time I've ever seen the live.
Really?
I'm usually watching it 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm not plugging anybody.
Well, you keep repeating their names like we missed it the first 8 times. We got the names.
I'm just saying that everybody's talking about them on these face groups. It's insanity.
It is. However, Hobo Mo, let me point this out to you and everybody else. Carroll County, of which Delphi is the county seat. Delphi, the population of Delphi is 3,500 people. Now, if you're looking for a man that lived in and around Delphi, that's 18 to 40, well, let's divide that in half. And you come up with, what would that be? Like 1,700 people. That would be male. And then you divide out, well, out of that 1,700 people, how many are 18 to 40? Well, let's look at the statistics here. Well, now we got, hang on, wait, because hey, Hub, hey, hold on. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I was still speaking. Now, when you divide that out into like 1,700 men, and then you divide out of that, how many are 18 to 40, that leaves you with a very small margin. Now, when you're looking at that small margin and you say, well, of those people, let's run these names, how many have never committed a crime? Okay, well, gee, that leaves us with 20 people. One of you guys probably did it. You don't think that they would have been knocking on doors?
I think they knocked on everybody's doors.
They knocked on everybody's door in a surrounding county area. Everybody, including mine.
My honest opinion is, I think they know who did it.
No, they don't, or they would have had him arrested a long time ago.
But they don't have enough evidence.
They have all the evidence in the world that comes directly from Doug Carter, the head of the Indiana State Police. We have all the pieces to the puzzle, aside of who did it. Now, if you think that somebody went in there and two people seen that person, they have fingerprints and DNA left at the crime scene. They got pictures of the guy and audio of the guy. But man, we ain't got enough evidence. I'm sorry. They got way more than enough evidence. They got a timestamp on that. They got everything that they need in that crime to arrest that soul.
We don't know what happened after the girls were discovered, if there was something that happened to the crime scene.
Like what?
That disturbed it. And do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
That something happened. We just don't know everything. And so
we don't know about the crime scene. We don't know about that. And I'll give that to you. We don't know about the crime scene. That is fact. However, you know, people say like, well, the searchers touched the body. Well, that's touch DNA, man. All they got to do is run that DNA against that person. But they touched them. Okay. Well, you know what? Somebody's laying there dead. I go over and give them CPR and that person was shot. They're still going to arrest somebody for that murder. It doesn't matter that I touched them. That doesn't destroy the crime scene. The guy didn't go over and move the bodies in different places. They didn't do that. I don't think that there was anything on contaminating DNA at all. I think that it was much more, it was bigger than that. The DNA they got is suspect DNA. They are very much aware that this is suspect DNA. And again, I go back to Trooper Kim Riley telling me that the suspect had never committed a crime before. You cannot say that with DNA.
Then outside of your person of interest, do you think that they have a person of interest and they're watching?
They have a suspect and they know that that person is suspect because the DNA match, the fingerprints match. They called, the guy had never committed a crime. He looks like the sketch, and I'm positive that Sheriff Lesenby took that sketch to the two people that seen him and said, is this the man that you seen that day?
Is that the first sketch or the second sketch?
It's the only sketch, the first one. The second sketch was generic, the same as their explanation for it.
So they do have somebody that they think did it.
They know who did it.
That's what I asked you. I said, I think they know who did it, but there's something holding them back.
Yeah, he's in jail for murder down in Missouri, and they can't go talk to him. And again,
come on.
Okay, what would happen if they came out tomorrow and said, we know who did it and we're filing charges? Do you know what would happen?
No.
I'll tell you what would happen. His attorney down there would say, okay, we want a quick and speedy trial. Do it within 60 days. Wait a minute. There ain't no way we can get him to Indiana in 60 days. He's down there on first-degree murder. Well, guess what? We win. Have a nice day, Indiana. That's what would happen.
But he's not familiar with Delphi. He's not from Delphi.
Have you've watched my show, have you not?
Yes.
Have you went over all the evidence that I've included into my videos at all?
Well, I think I have to send you $20 to get all the evidence.
No, you don't. But if you do want to, you can send it to this right here, this PayPal link. Seen right here. But no, the point that I make is, look, through this time, he was living in St. Louis, or actually in Imperial, because that's Jefferson County, not St. Louis County, and that's in Missouri, not Jefferson County, Indiana, just so you know. Now, he had traveled from there to his hometown in Montrose, Michigan, many times by car. And if you go to St. Louis and you put in from St. Louis to Fort Wayne, Indiana, that's where his brother lives, it gives you the Hoosier Heartland route. The Hoosier Heartland, believe it or not, takes Highway 25 right by Monon High Bridge Trail. And being at about halfway, hang on, because I'm still speaking. Please don't let me.
Even aware of the Monon High Bridge.
Listen again to what I'm saying. It goes right by Monon High Bridge Trail. Now, again,
but you said the other night that your father was 15 miles from the Mon High Bridge, and
it's Monon.
There, and that you never even knew it existed.
I didn't know it existed, but you know what? I never took Highway 25 down the Hoosier Heartland either.
So I'm just. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is that he had stopped there many times through his travels through Indiana. He knew it was a small trail. He did the same in Evansdale, and he went there that day being the reverse date of the Evansdale murder to commit the same murder in identically the same way. And that is what I propose is true.
Okay, so when is this going to come to a conclusion? When are they going to find BT? Is that his initial?
TB.
Is it BT?
TB. Thomas Bruce.
TB. I'm sorry. When are they going to find him? When is this going to come to an end?
Well, he has a jury trial set for October of this year.
October, right?
Exactly. Now, once he is convicted, once he is convicted of that crime, whether they find him guilty or innocent is regardless of it. It does not matter. I'm sorry, regardless of. I don't want you to pop past, but once that is completed, then he's got to go get his DOC number. This first time he's been arrested, he's got to go get his DOC number. Now that's Department of Corrections. That's when he's sent to prison. Now, once he gets that DOC number, then all other states where he's committed a crime can go down and talk to him and finish up their investigation. Now, I'll tell you the way that I'm looking at it. When it came back, when the FBI went down and got his DNA, when he's down there in St. Louis jail, they got his DNA. Every single murder that connected back to that DNA, they got a hold of. They said, "We got your guy." Now, Mary Pryor and Ann Pates in Michigan, they also left fingerprints. They had them. They said, "Okay, we believe we have your guy here, and this is why." Now, get your cases together, because once this case completes down there in Missouri, you can go talk to him, end your investigation, then try him for murder. And that's what they're waiting on, is this case to end. And I say that for this reason. Daniel Nations, they went out to Colorado. The state of Indiana sent investigators out to Colorado.
And what you said about him, that they never talked to him, or Daniel Nations never would talk to him because he lawyered up, correct?
Wrong. In fact, quite the opposite. He had a public defender, I'll give you that, but he wanted to talk to Indiana investigators. He wanted to give them his DNA. And he told me, sitting right here, I was sitting right there. Hang on, you can't really see my finger. I was sitting right there on my couch. That's back when my couch was there. And I was talking to Daniel Nations on the phone after they went out there. And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't even get to talk to him." He said, "My public defender stopped them at the door without consulting me first, because I wanted to speak to him. I wanted to give them my DNA." So what they did was they extradited him back here to Johnson County 1 week before the first year press conference, spoke to him, got his DNA. And at the first year press conference, they said, "We are not concerned about Daniel Nations at this time." Now, in knowing that, and this was my hunch at the very beginning, because he was down there in Missouri, Indiana can't go down there and talk to him because he's down there on murder charges. Daniel Nations was in there on like minor felony charges to murder. He went through 4 felony charges in Colorado, got probation on all of them, and then was extradited back to Indiana. He's down there long term, but they got to wait until that case is over until they can go down and talk to him. That includes Delphi, that includes Evansdale, that includes Michigan. All of them got to wait until that case is over. When they can go down and talk to him, then they'll file charges immediately, right after they talk to him.
Why isn't the federal government swooping in and saying, if you confess to these crimes, we'll give you this deal?
Well, they may. And I'm hoping like hell they don't. Okay. Well, let me put it to you like this. when he's convicted down there, let's say he go ahead and they give him.
He's going to be convicted.
Okay, when he's
Right?
convicted, listen, when he's convicted down there in Missouri, if they give him life without parole, right? Now, let's say
Right.
all of these other states all join forces and they say, okay, this is what we're going to do. If he will confess to all of these murders, we'll give him life without parole. And he'll say, well, I already got life without parole. Great. I'll
Right.
admit everything you want. But here's the lowdown right here. He won't get murder for Delphi. In fact, he's going to get what he already had. Where's the justice? Where's the justice? The people of Iowa want him to die for the Evansdale murders. They want him to die, but they're not a death penalty state. The only thing standing between him and the death penalty is Indiana. And if they ain't got balls enough to try him to do that, I'm calling them out. I'll say they have no testicles because that guy's got to die for that.
Right now.
Do what?
You know?
Do what?
How many people are on death row in Indiana right now?
You know what? That's an
Do we
interesting
know?
question. And you know what? I wish I would have looked that up firsthand, beforehand. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say a small handful. A small
Well,
handful.
I don't know. I mean, that's not a red herring question. It's
Well,
kind of gotcha. I don't know.
well, no, I'm not. I didn't think that it was, but it is a good question because I don't know how many people are on death row or how many people. I'll put it to you like this: it's very rare anymore that a state tries somebody for capital murder.
I know.
They're too left wing. We don't want to hurt their feelings. They feel really bad about what they did. Bullshit. They need to die.
But part of the problem is that in the past we've convicted people and put them on death row, and there was a question of doubt. And that's the problem is we don't want to put anybody on trial and convict them and sentence them to death row.
Well,
There's a question of doubt. Now, if they're John Wayne Gacy, let's put him on death row.
He was on death row and they killed him. Same as Ted Bundy. They killed BTK. Nah, it's cool. Yeah, we'll let him live. Gary, what's his name?
I don't know what his name is.
Oh, I know it.
They all meld together.
But anyway, they killed all these people, man. Are they on death row? No, we just said if you admit to all of them, man, we'll give you life without parole. Now ask me, if they was going to wrongfully convict me of a crime and they said, well, you got two ways out: life behind bars without parole, that's in prison, or death. Which one do you choose? Like, dude, do you have a gun on you? Do you have a gun with you where you can just blow my head out? Because I'm tired of thinking about this already. I don't want to do life behind bars. I don't want to be somebody's boyfriend. Okay. I ain't looking at that. I ain't looking at that at all. Just go ahead and kill my ass. Now, somebody that's out there killing, sure, give me life without parole. Hell, I'll be in, what is it? Protective custody. Ain't nobody going to lay a hand to me. So, yeah, why would I want him to have that? The people of Evansdale are screaming for the guy to die. They said, we realize we're not a death penalty state, but for the love of God, kill this bastard. That's the way Delphi should be. Because when you go out and you kill young girls.
The Evansville case, as I am with Delphi, are they sure that it's him in Evansville?
I am.
Okay.
I am above the law.
Well, we all know that after your video where you flashed your papers and said all that stuff about.
I'm that guy. I am the new age of Sherlock Holmes.
Well, you said,
Mark Ryan, what up,
if
man?
your name wasn't in capitalized letters on your birth certificate, I saw the whole thing.
All right.
I watched it 3 or 4 times.
God, man, you know what? You're the greatest, man. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told the mods that, well, actually, I did it like this, man. You got to do it correctly. You see, you got to pull that up. That way they know I'm talking about the neck and not like shaving the person.
Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. I've had too much to drink. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. And if you'd like me to call back, I will.
You know what?
Ban me. I'd love to be banned.
Would you? Would you really? Don't make, yeah, Gary Gilmore. Well, no, not Gary Gilmore, because they killed Gary. Gary went down by fire. Hang on, I'm talking to somebody in chat. Gary Gilmore, man, I think he was. Honestly, he was the last guy to die by firing squad. That's why he selected in Utah. Executioner song. They had the firing squad, and he's like, let's do it. You know? No, it wasn't him. It was Gary Ridgway, the Green River.
Yeah. All right. I will, if you want me to call back at some point in the future.
You're always welcome to call back, but please remember, I don't plug other people. If I have them on my show, that's different.
I'm calling into you.
You're calling into me, but you're asking about other channels and then repeating their name 5 times. I'm like, please don't do that.
But I'm talking to you.
You're talking to me about other people.
No, you're not getting it. I'm plugging you. If I'm talking to you, that there is no bigger plug. Right?
Well, right. And you're welcome to call in. In fact, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time would be perfect. But, well, we'll actually wait a couple minutes because I always got my monologue. You know, doing my Johnny Carson here. Hey, yeah. I've been watching the Smothers Brothers way too much. Do what?
Maybe I'll call next Tuesday. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Get Anthony Greeno out of jail.
We're doing what we can.
Money, I'd get him out myself.
But, you know, yeah, but listen, man, that's like $8,500 cash. That's not a tenth of that. That's like the full amount. And, you know, he even agreed there ain't nobody coming out with that kind of money. But, you know, we're still.
Well, you know, the thing is that there are a lot of people with that kind of money just laying around.
Well, they know where to send it. And when you send it, say it's for Greeno.
But for
that's where the mods pop in.
A lot of Americans, right there. That's you know, Costco money.
Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Peaches. Wait. We was all wondering where you were. God. Well, thanks for being here, Peaches. It means a lot.
All right. I will talk to you next week.
Okay, man, and thank you for calling in.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was somebody with a what-if question, but it involved other people's channels. Don't do that to me. Please. I'm begging you. Oh, yeah, it's cool, Peaches, man. You know, I get it. I had to cook. But you know what? I literally had to cook me and Wuss pork chops, man, prior to the show. And you know what? Normally, I eat at 6:30. So I ate a little bit early. Hey, 80 people? Oh, my God. I feel like an all-star. Hey, let me tell you guys what happened last night. True story. This friend of mine lives down the street. He was here a minute ago. He may have left. It depends. Okay, he was going to a friend's at his house, man. It lives right up the road. He's like, man, you should go with me. And I'm like, no, man, I don't want to go with you. I don't like meeting other people. Well, the guy wanted a power cord for a computer. I'm like, oh, I got one like that. Hang on, man. I'll go get it and bring it to you. So took it down to his house. He's like, come on, man. Yeah, this is a good dude. So we go over to this guy's house, right? So we go up, man, give him the power cord. And I'm like, hey, man. I said, is that a violin in that little case? He's like, yeah, you play? And I go, no. I said, I've always wanted to, though. And he handed it to me. He goes, here you go. Brand new violin. Brand new, people. I swear that to you. Guy just handed me a brand new violin. For real. So not everybody's bad. Some people hand you a free violin. Well, it wasn't free, but it was pretty close. Introverts Unite. That should be the name of my next show. You know, right there. Yeah, man, if I leave the house, it's probably just to go out in the woods and get my trail cam, go hiking, see nature, that kind of thing. So anyway, back to the point. Does anybody have you know what? Next time I'll make me like a little thing for the green screen that says like, what if? That way I can be on here and be like, what if? Call in right here at this number, seen at the bottom of your screen. Oh, crap. Give me a quick second. Hold on. It'll be really fast.
Well, hello.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Katt?
I am doing very well, thank you. Again. We were talking about, or you were a little bit,
Yeah.
about these people who have pseudonyms for names on YouTube.
Like Michael
And
J.
you don't
Katt?
have any way of knowing who they are, where they're from,
Yeah, pussies.
or they're totally anonymous.
Yeah.
And post things that really should not be posted quite like they're posting them.
Correct. And you and I did discuss that.
Yeah. And I do believe there's two things I want to mention, and they're not related. There is a lawsuit against a internet user, because I think it's on both Facebook and YouTube,
So is mine.
for libel and slander.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind, I seriously hope, I pray to the grand creator that TV takes me to court for slander. Do it, dude. Get your lawyers involved, man. Take me in there, because you know what? I would be a very wealthy man if that was to take place. I would be wealthy beyond all words.
Well,
And I don't even need
he doesn't
money.
have the money, but where
Wolf
would
does.
you? Where would you
Wolf
file a
needs money.
judgment?
In a bad way. Do what?
Where
He's
would
got
you
vet
file
bills.
a judgment? Because we know TV doesn't have any money.
Well, he wouldn't get any out of me.
No, I mean, he doesn't have any to sue.
Well, again, though, I mean, look, he may not have money. How would I put that? It's not that he can't get money. Let me put it to you like this. If Ted Bundy wrote a book of, here's what I did and here's how, the world would have bought that book. Now they say, well, you can't make money on that. Well, you can after the fact, because you wrote that book. Charles Manson, when he died in prison, was worth, I forget how many millions of dollars. But he didn't make that money. He did, but he didn't. It's not that he couldn't come up with money to sue.
Well, and a lot of states filed reactive law. And I know you and I are going to differ on this, but that's fine.
Maybe.
And they changed the law to make it impossible for criminals to benefit economically. Now, there's a way around that, and you have your first cousin, once removed by 2 generations, write the book, and he takes care of your family.
Yeah.
And I think that could be done. But there's a lot of, books out there that are not quite accurate. And the latest one that I haven't read, because I don't think it's worth reading, is by a Sherilyn somebody, I can't remember her last name, who communicated with Chris Watts. And what she did, I think, now I'm not positive about this, but she may have just copied those letters and then cut and pasted, and there's no real storyline to it. It's just a compilation of what he wrote, and some of it, I believe, is in his handwriting. And there's bits and pieces from everywhere. And I think somebody's talking about a lawsuit against her, because there was some talk about plagiarism. And that's even an issue. But I think you'd be in a real good position to provide facts to write a book.
Well, you know what? That's kind of a different topic matter, because I will ask people here, if somebody was going to write a book on the Delphi murders, specifically the Delphi murders, who would you want to buy a book by if they had wrote it? And I believe, if it was me, that I think that first on that list would probably be Sheriff Lesenby, because he's duly aware of the inside as to what's going on legally, as to how the information unfolded to him. And I think that he would write a really good book on it. If I was going to write a book on the Delphi murders, it'd be through my eyes and the way that things reached me, specifically me, and how that changed or altered how I felt at that time. But I think that Sheriff Lesenby would be number one on my list. Okay, if one more person mentions that guy's name, anybody mentioning that guy's name, send him home, please. And thank you. And not just you, John, but I'm just saying in general, it's like when people come on here and start dropping names, man, that pisses me off, because the first thing I see is it's a troll. End them. Take them home. I don't care. Make them go shave. Bye. Now,
and what might be interesting before you go on is for you and Sheriff Lesenby to get together and write one.
Are you suggesting I email him about a co-op on a book? Because I will. Hey, Lesenby, come here a minute, man. I want to talk to you about a book. That would be kind of cool, though. I mean, it would be good to sit down with him after the fact. In fact, that might be something that, well, you know what? At the end of this, I'd have to look up how long his term would be. Because then you're going to be looking into, God, man, by the time the trial would even start, and we don't know how they're going to do that. If they do it by time or if they do it as a collab, it depends on how they play that. Because if they got to go back to the beginning, it's probably going to start in California. I would believe in California. It could go back to Susan Collins, depending, because Susan Collins may have been like a first go. But it'd go way back in time and then followed it through. And that's why I think that they're going to pull them all into one bunch. But then it is like, okay, on murder, you got to try them in the state where it was committed. You can't try them on multiple murders in multiple states in one state, like where it counts for all of them. You can't do that. So,
no, but the feds could take it.
Well, but if the feds take it, man, then they're going to give him, like, you know, we know how that plays. They're not going to say, would you admit to all this so we can kill you? Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not. God, no. You know, then, yeah. Well, but again, I mean, it may take a long time before it ever reaches Indiana. And I think that Sheriff Lesenby would be out of his job at that point, but that would certainly give him something to do. You know, he could retire as sheriff and then start writing the book. And I think that would be very good.
Write it, but excuse me, Michael, I don't think he could publish it until the investigation's closed.
No. I'm saying by the time it goes to trial, he could be, you know, have the book ready to go at that point. Because once he's convicted all this, bam, it's like New York Times bestseller. You know, like that. And I would buy that book. Because that would be some very good reading, most of which I already know.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
But I could sit right there reading it and go, come here, look, Wolf. Do you see what I'm saying? This is exactly, is it not? You see? I would sit and read the book and go, do you remember back when I was telling you this? That's how I'd be.
Exactly.
You know, for a person that's so introverted, I sure have an ego. Isn't that weird? I mean, wouldn't you think I'd be the life of the party? I'm not. No, I don't even go to parties. I stay at home with my dog.
You lead the life that you choose to lead.
It's a good life.
And if you are happy, that's all that matters. And
maybe
you
could
tell everybody about your new acquisition this week.
Are you talking about the violin?
No.
I want to point out that Wolf got nothing in the mail today.
No, that's not it either.
which is for Woof, not me.
You have a new little pet, or you have 3 little pets.
Oh, I did talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
No, I did.
I didn't hear it.
Yep. I told people I was, oh, you know what? It was before you got here. It was at the beginning of the show because I told them I went to the pet store today and they had curbside service. And I'm like, but I'm handing you my card. You know, it's like, it seems kind of stupid to keep people out of your store because of the flu when they're handing you the money. But anyway,
well, yeah,
they want to make sure the pets don't get it. I don't know. It goes a little deep and wide.
Well, I can't get my dogs in to be groomed, and if you don't groom them, you have problems with mats. And every one of them look like they're homeless dogs.
Oh,
they've been with me for a long time, but they're still lovable. Trust me.
In my life, there was the one job that I always wanted, and that was to be a dog groomer. It really was. I always thought I would do very well with that. I love dogs and I love making dogs look good. And you know, when you're done grooming and you send them home, you know that puppy's feeling on top of the world because it's looking number one. That would be a good job choice. I would love to be a dog groomer. In fact, man, my neighbor that lived down the street here, I'll go back a couple of years ago, but they lived there for 7 years. They had 2 schnauzers, and I would go down and trim them, and they would just look fantastic. And I always thought, man, being a dog groomer, that's what I'd like to be. You just make the dog feel good about itself. And that's what's important to me, because dogs should feel on top of the world. When I go to Kroger's and there's a dog out in the car, man, I'm like, oh, hey, me, man, how you doing? Yeah, I just love dogs. Dogs are so great. They're so loving and caring. They really give a shit. And a lot of time, man, people just don't. Not you guys, though. You guys really do give a shit or you wouldn't be here. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Well, I've raised dogs for over 30 years, and I can tell you that I have had some of the best, most loving dogs, and they're Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. And they are just, all they do is love and chew and eat. That's it. And sleep.
Sounds like Woof. He also likes a squirrel hunt, though.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Mine chased rabbits the other night.
He'd chase a rabbit, you know?
Yep.
He'd chase anything. He's a rat terrier, and he don't give a singular crap about the rats I have in the Critter Nation cage. Oh, well, you know,
that's probably a good thing because he could raise a ruckus with them.
Did you know that the number one, because see, rat terriers were bred to kill rats. That's why they are called a rat terrier. Now, the one that held the record, and this is back in a different day when you could do that. I mean, today people have feelings about rats, wild rats, which I kind of do to a degree. I do. I like wild rats. I think that they're very cute. They're adorable little animals, much like a squirrel without the furry tail. But, you know, the thing is that the one that held the record killed like 1,500 rats in an hour. Think about that. 1,500 rats in 1 hour. It's like, where in the fuck was you guys living at? That's insane, man. How would you get 1,500 rats in an hour? Where in the fuck was you at, man? The junkyard or something?
No, they were at New York's landfill.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah. I can't even imagine the rat problem they'd have.
Yeah, that's Rat Central, man.
That would be the empire of the rats. Oh.
God, yeah, but you know what?
Don't bring up the movie Willard.
My dad's name's Willard. Willard Katt.
Well, I'll tell you that's good. That is really good.
You've seen him through life.
Mention of that movie just makes me ill.
Yeah, but you know what? And I do want to point this out for anybody viewing that has ever watched the movie Willard, the original Willard. All of the rats that were in that were all domestic rats. None of them were wild colored. None of them. They were all domestic. And when you look at that, I mean, even when I was little, I'm like, why are they using domestic rats? I mean, what do you do? Get them at a pet shop? Why would they be attacking these people? Seems kind of lame to me. Now, wild rats, yeah, you could see that maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, eat that man. Have a good day.
In Las Vegas, there's lots of rats. And when I first moved down there, I was starting to have a rat problem, and I didn't think it was too bad. And as time went on, I got on YouTube, and I typed in rats, Summerlin, Nevada. And holy Jiminy, I wish I wouldn't have done that, because the first YouTube video I watched were rats crawling up the side of a stucco house, which that's what mine is, and it's a rat breaking through a screen and crawling into a bathroom. And I got to tell you that when I first moved into that house, all of the screens weren't there. And I just slept with my bedroom window open off the roof of the patio cover. And they could have crawled up there a million ways. And when I found that out, I'll tell you what, I shut everything down and I started paying $500 a month for air conditioning instead. But
you know,
I was just
women in their fear of rats. You know,
not when there are a lot of them.
If I had ever seen a rat when I was little, the first thing I would have did was live trap it. That's exactly what I would have did. You see, when I talk about science, I go back to the age when I was 8. When I was 8 years old, I knew I was going to be a scientist. And today, look at me now. Look at me now. Straight up scientist. So much so that I got a wild rat and a domestic rat in my Critter Nation corner on the south end of my front room.
And how many babies can they have in a year?
In a year? Well, actually, the point of that was this. If you got a male and a female rat, over the course of them having babies and their babies having babies and their babies' babies having babies, over the course of 1 year, if all the rats were to live, it could equal 58,000. They breed like rabbits, but they're rats. But they're both rodent. They're both, rodent.
And they breed how many, do they breed every 6 weeks?
No, they come into heat every 8 days. In fact,
they get pregnant and they have babies right away, and then they're off to the races again. Or how long does gestation period?
As soon as she drops that first litter, she can get pregnant with the second litter. That quick. And those babies, I forget after how many weeks, can become pregnant. So it's just continue. It's exponential. And that's why at a landfill, you'll never run out of rats. It don't matter how many rat terriers you throw in there, they'll never clean it out solid.
Oh, probably not. I couldn't even imagine. We used to go back to the dump and shoot rats with a .22.
Yeah, good times.
And woodchucks and skunks. There was a time that my dad didn't have any girls, and my sister flat out refused to do it. And how she made her refusal stick, I'll never understand. But she wouldn't go out and deal with a dead animal. And when he killed a whole bunch of skunks we had a big playhouse out in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out there and shot them because we couldn't have skunks around the dogs.
Yeah, I hear you.
And they were inside a chain link fence, and I don't know how they got there either. But, no, that smelled so bad. It was a good thing it was summer, because I could not have gone to school for about 10 days. And it was probably all in my head, but I could smell that skunk forever.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what you bathed in. It was just god-awful. But that's growing up on the farm.
That is, and that was growing up at the lake where I lived at. I got sprayed by a skunk. And that was in the fall of '82. I had on my brand new Ozzy Osbourne shirt, and it got hit. The shirt had to leave, but so did I for a while because they wouldn't let me in the house until they got stuff to clean me. And let me tell you, tomato juice, not really what they say it is. You carry that funk with you for a few days. But being sprayed by a skunk is different than a skunk at a distance because when it's way off and on the wind, it actually has, to me, I want to say this correctly. I don't want to say it smells really good, but it just is so reminiscent of the country when it's at a distance. It just reminds me of growing up where there was a skunk at a distance on the wind. You smell it. It's not bad at all. I don't say it's perfumey, but at the same time, it's just got that smell of country to it. But when you get hit by one, my God, man, that is just so bad, man. I mean, it's like horseradish and garlic clove in your mouth, and you're just munching it. It almost makes your eyes water because of the funk. That's bad, man. But skunks are just really good pets. I mean, they really are. If you look up like a pet skunk where they've been descended, I mean, people swear by them. Like, man, I wouldn't own anything else. They're really great pets. But yeah, a little bit, yes, Sasha, to a degree. Number one, in fact. I mean, it does have that kind of a smell. And I heard somebody say that like a distant skunk almost has like I don't know how to best phrase that or how they did, but it's not bad smelling. But man, you get hit by one, it's bad news, man. You don't want that. Believe me, I've hit a skunk. I shot one under the place up in Michigan, and just like you were saying, holy crap, man, we had to leave for a time. It was just bad news. When they die like that, they spray people. Know it.
I'm going to tell you another little story. I'm going to tell you my skunk story. That was not it. We were up at the lake. We spent summers up at the lake in St. Helens, Michigan. And we were a group that probably we had 10 friends that were my age. And my mother had a 1969 gold Buick Electra convertible. And that car was absolutely precious to her, and she rarely let anybody else drive it. And one night, she gave me permission to take the car, and I was in shock. Well, we were going down this cowpath lane, which is where the cabins were up there. And I'll be damned if a skunk didn't run out in front of me and then just freeze. So I tried to avoid the skunk, rolled the skunk under the car. The skunk took off after it sprayed. Yeah. And then I wound up bottoming the car in part of the road because I was trying to avoid the skunk. And I'm thinking, my friends are in the car, and we're just dying of the smell because he got the bottom side of the car good.
Yeah.
So we're trying to think, what in the hell can we do to get rid of this smell? And I'm not going to wash the bottom of the car with tomato juice, but what help, guys? And so we took the car down to the car wash, and one of my friends' dads owned the gas station where the car wash was, and they were closed. So we made him open it up, and we started washing the car down and thought, this might not be too bad. I didn't even think to look under the hood. Where I had bottomed the car out, it had sprayed sand up into the engine compartment. So the next morning, my dad walks in my bedroom, and he said, "You need to get up now." And I'm thinking, shit, well, I guess we didn't get the smell out of the car. Well, it wasn't the skunk smell that made my dad mad. He opened up the hood of the car, and it was just covered in sand. I mean, inches of sand. And so then I had to tell the whole story. Well, it was probably 10 years after that my mom needed an errand done. I didn't have my car at her house. I was married with a baby before she would even offer to let me drive her car. I honestly thought she would send me to town on a tractor before I drove that car again. And that's the way it was. But it was months before that car could go into the garage because it still had the skunk smell.
Wow.
It took a long time. It got up into everything.
Now, you see, when you say that, I would think that that would be very distant. It seems like that right there would not have been a bad skunk smell. Now, I hit a skunk one time. I won't give the names of the people that was with me, but they know who they are. Yeah, I'm talking like late 80s. I mean, I was in the Army at the time. But I hit a skunk, and that was just north of the lake on a country road. Yeah, we was drinking. Yeah, ain't no covering that up at this point. So I get out like Cassius, and I, go pick up the skunk and threw it on the hood, kind of like I got the blood of Caesar on my hands. It was that kind of a moment. And I got in the vehicle and started heading down the country. We're all laughing. And then I slammed the brakes on and I threw the skunk off the hood because that was a very major bad mistake. And I want to be quite clear that that was not something that a man that was unintoxicated would have or should have done. That was bad. And we had to live with that all the way back to my house. And that was bad time. And so if you ever hit a skunk, don't be like Cassius. Don't get out and throw it on the hood to be a wise guy, because you will pay the price. Just like we all did. And believe me, it was not cool. I thought it was cool, but I was wrong that time. That time I was wrong. But I quickly made account of it and said, that was uncool. Let me go remove that off the, are you guys okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. And remove the skunk. Now, never in my life did I ever try to live trap a skunk, because believe me, I know better now.
No, I don't even know if you could get that smell out of a cage.
Oh, what?
If you were live trapping.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it would be a while.
Yeah, but again, I mean, distant skunk does have a decent smell. I mean, it does. I don't know, man. It's not like cow crap exactly, but I don't know. It reminds me of when I was a teenager, man. It just does. It's like there's a skunk on the wind, It's just got that kind of a smell. Yeah, and I did, and don't take me wrong. I wasn't trying. It wasn't like I purposely tried to hit the skunk. It was just there, and I did. But then at that point, the skunk was already dead. What do you do? Well, the same thing when I was little, man. I'd go out and kill birds, man. My friend was all like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, there it is, man. Look, we killed him, Yeah, I probably wasn't a really cool kid. But I was the one that... No,
I would do anything to avoid hitting another skunk.
Oh, yeah, myself too. But I always aim for squirrels. Squirrels I try to hit, man. They're the Harlem Globetrotters of hitting stuff. They try to get out of your way, they get out there, juke, 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 bam, gone, miss me. But I never, ever try to hit a possum. Possums ask for it, man. They're suicidal. They stand out in the road and go, come on, dude. Just end it for me, please.
Do you know what a nutria is?
A nutria?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I spent 3 months down in Louisiana in 1991, and I had never been there, and it was a very dear friend of mine had a heart attack and was taking a boat through the Panama Canal.
Yeah, I did. I killed every squirrel.
Alaska. And so I went down there, and I was in culture shock for a while. From a lot of things, not just this. But I was going down the highway one night to drive into New Orleans and I think pick up my husband, who was flying down from Alaska. And the highway was just greasy and grimy and bloody. And I'm thinking, did they murder a bunch of people and bleed them out on the road? And it was only I don't know, 100 feet long, whatever. And I stopped, well, at the airport, I asked somebody, I said, what in the world was that? There's a lot of things in Louisiana that I don't get yet, but I really want to know what that was. Well, they have these little things called nutria, and some people eat them. But
they sound delicious.
In groups. And when the groups get caught on the highway, they get smucked. And it smears them all over the road. And the roads can get slippery. And I had no idea what that was.
With nutria guts. Yeah.
It looks exactly like somebody killed a dozen people and let them bleed out. It's awful.
Yeah.
And then they have the pencil snakes down there that you have to really be careful of because they swim up the toilets.
Ah, yeah, I ain't cool with snakes being, well, depending, mind you. But not cool with other snakes being in my toilet, that's for a fact.
Nope. That, after I found that out, I checked the commode every time I even thought of using it. And it's hilarious. But I didn't know. And when the traffic kills them, they just kill them. There's so many of them. And I guess the meat is pretty good.
Well, I will try nutria if I'm ever down that way. If I'm ever in Louisiana, somebody cook me up some nutria. That'd be awesome and cool. And the true king of Uganda would appreciate that.
Well, it's supposed to be a cross between a rabbit and chicken.
Wow. Okay, I'm kind of surprised that I've never ate one at this point. That sounds wonderful.
Well, and of course, it would depend on how you cooked it, but
Hello?
Okay, I lived.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're still hanging tight, making sure.
But, no, Louisiana was an interesting place to visit.
Never been down there, but I did go to Arkansas once. Regretted. It is as bad as they say in Arkansas. It ain't just in movies, people. It's okay. Well, I'm going to wrap up here in a minute, Incog. Go ahead, Miss Cap.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy.
Don't catch the invisible scare.
Hit like on the way out.
Hit like. The owner of the channel appreciates that, and so does Wolf. The crown prince, the true crown prince of Uganda, Wolf Bear. Hello?
Did you sign off?
No.
Oh. Well, I'm back then.
Okay.
I wonder what would happen if Thomas Bruce comes up with coronavirus.
Oh, you mean if he got the flu, he'd be okay in a week? They'd just give him some hydroquinone. There you go, man. Have a good day, dude. You know, legally, we can still get your DNA, so don't try any cheap shit. You're not going to die. I mean, I really, honestly, down in here, I don't know if you can see this part when I'm doing that. You probably can't. But there's a part of me that don't even really believe that corona is a real virus. I think it was flu time, and they just put a shit up everybody's ass over it. Now you got people running around with a mask going, I don't want to catch corona. I'm like, dude, I called it on my show 2 weeks ago. It's bullshit. Fucking please. Pet store owner, come on, man. Are you that big a yahoo? I'm handing you my effing card. God. Don't catch the corona.
see.
Please.
It will be interesting to see what the numbers come out to be.
Okay, now that I can advise. Good chronic, right? Yeah, I'm down with that. But not corona. If it's real. And again, I have doubt. I still think it's just the flu. The China flu. The Hong Kong flu. Hello? Ms. Katt? Hello? Oh, okay. I think she had hung up there. I think she was probably having some phone issues. Anyways, my popularity is waning, and the king of Uganda cannot take that. Sorry. So anyway, I wish everybody a fair adieu. I will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully by that time, Ted Barris has reached me, and I got his interview on HPD 77 mods, Incognito Society. All viewers, everybody out there, stay safe, stay happy, keep me in mind, and be here at 6 p.m. next Tuesday evening. Wish you all the best, man. Peace, everybody.